great things change things. Wherever we are, whatever we're doing, the information that empowers and connects us comes back to our global data centers. Built for a secure, sustainable, and digital world, they make the invisible visible and anything possible. And that's a great thing. Together, we do great things.
Chennai, known as the gateway to South India, is one of the major IT and data center hubs in the country. The Adani Group now plans to build world-class data center infrastructure in the city of Chennai. The Adani Chennai 1 data center is the biggest hyperscale data center in Chennai with a 32 megawatt IT load. It is strategically located in Sipcot IT Park with direct connectivity to the National Highway and other major IT hubs in Chennai. The data center is being built to meet global standards with 7 layers of security, best-in-class power usage effectiveness, redundant fiber connectivity and green energy. The Adani Chennai 1 shall be equipped to provide one-stop solution for all telecom and IT infrastructure needs of hyperscale customers, including low-latency network connectivity, high-performance computing and other value-added services. Through this data center, the Adani Group aspires to contribute to the local economy while continuing our work towards nation building at large and being steadfast on our philosophy of growth with goodness.
Let's call you later. I'm in a meeting. I know. You have to give back that reply. I'll do that.
Founded in Germany over 100 years ago by Anton Piller, the company has a long history in the manufacturing of exceptionally high-quality electrical machines and power quality equipment. Today, as part of the multidisciplined global British engineering group Langley Holdings plc, Piller is a world leader and innovator in a number of power protection technologies, specializing in UPS systems for mission-critical applications and frequency converters for aircraft ground power, amongst other uses. Piller UPS systems are found in applications where continuous high-quality power is paramount, such as computer data centers, financial institutions, broadcasting, telecommunication networks, airports, healthcare facilities, and continuous process production sites. Nothing protects quite like Piller.
It's amazing what humans have accomplished. Cars that think, machines that learn, healthcare that predicts. The progress of tomorrow has yet to be imagined, but it will rely on data. It will rely on Vertiv. Vertiv ensures data gets where it needs to be uninterrupted. Critical power is always running. Servers perform at optimal temperatures. Infrastructures grow safely and responsibly. Applications run without glitches, and life leaps forward again. Getting there takes vision and agility. Our leading experts think beyond infrastructure, connecting the dots to create integrated, intelligent ecosystems, to create a future that takes innovation to the next level. And when business needs shift, we work closely with our customers every step of the way. Together, we ensure they are ready before they ever need to be. Vertiv provides continuity in our digital world, so we remain unbound, liberated, free to create the next big thing. Vertiv, architects of continuity.
Great things change things. Wherever we are, whatever we're doing, the information that empowers and connects us comes back to our global data centers. Built for a secure, sustainable, and digital world, they make the invisible visible and anything possible. And that's the great thing. Together, we do great things.
Hello, sir. I have logged in. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Suresh Saab. Good afternoon, Mr. Trivedi. Venkatagiri here.
Good afternoon, Girigaru. We had a wonderful, healthy building session, CI.
Yes, sir. I heard about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good afternoon, Mahesh Trivedi Sahib. Sasi Galji.
Good morning,
Mr.
sir.
Sahib.
Good afternoon, Berry Saab.
Good afternoon, Venkat sir. Good afternoon. All set to go?
Yes, sir. Once Mr. Jayashanjan should join anytime. Once he joins, we should start immediately, sir.
Okay,
Wonderful.
great.
Abhay Bakraji is coming out.
And no, sir. Yes, not today. Somehow we'll try to get him on once during these 3 days.
So Abhay Bakraji is not there today. Okay.
Yeah.
Others are all there?
Yes, sir. Mr. Jayashanjan and Mr. Sharat Sanghi are there.
Ah.
And Mr. Mahesh Trivedi is also joining him from NTT.
Okay. So instead of Ajay Bakre, we'll have Mahesh Trivedi.
Venkat, Mr. Mahesh Trivedi is already joined.
Yeah.
I saw that. I said hello to him.
We have over 1150 delegates.
I know. We were just saying it's a record. For a webinar, I think for a webinar, there's a maximum. Ever.
Sir, that day good afternoon, sir. With Nitin Gadkari, that day we had 4,200.
Oh, really? Okay.
Crazy.
Yeah, I heard that 2,200. But how many participated finally?
I don't know, sir. How many are there, not there, you don't know. 4,200 logged in. Participated, but for how long you don't know.
Yeah.
Sir, very good afternoon, sir. How are you,
Karthikeyan?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Karthikeyan.
Good afternoon, sir. Anand here, sir.
Yoga Master, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Gurmeet Saab. Suresh, our morning session was very good, sir.
Yeah, you did well, equally. Daruwala's panel discussion also was good.
Very saab, Mr. Suresh, Mr. Sanghi and Gurmeet saab. Just now we had got a message from Jayesh Ranjan. He says he's still in the chief secretary meeting. Will be late. Will indicate when I will be able to join.
So why don't we do the program? But only thing is the launch of the digital launch. Should we do it when he is there or?
I think we should try to go ahead, sir. We have a long program ahead. Whenever he comes,
so let's go ahead with the program. Let's go ahead with the program. And as and when he comes, he can always address.
Yeah, you are right. I think that is better.
Then what do you mean?
Yeah, let's go ahead.
Now, once Sharad Sanghi is there,
Mr. Sharad Sanghi is joined.
The CIS thing is always
sir, good afternoon, sir.
Time.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. I
Okay.
my session later, but I just wanted to test everything is okay.
Okay, good, great. So I think ready to go now.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, Venkat, you can.
Yeah. Thank you. Good afternoon, the distinguished guests at the inaugural session and all the delegates. We have more than 1,000 delegates who have registered for this program. It's a privilege to have so many of you participating from all over the country and also from other parts of the world. We have a very packed agenda for the Green and Resilient Indian Data Centers Conference.
Your voice breaking?
No, it's okay, sir. It's okay.
We are privileged to have Mr. Syed Mohammad Berry, Chairman IGBC Bangalore Chapter and MD Berry's Group. Mr. Berry has been leading the green building movement in variety of areas, right from IT parks, data centers, even the first place of worship, which was certified as green, was under his leadership. He has been involved extensively in high-profile projects like data centers, lab spaces, R&D spaces in Mumbai, Chennai, and Hyderabad and Bangalore. Thank you, Berry Saab. Thank you for your involvement and kind participation. We will also have the presence of Mr. Jayesh Ranjan a little later. Mr. Jayesh Ranjan happens to be the Principal Secretary, Industries and Commerce and IT Telangana government. He would be joining a little late. He's still stuck with the Chief Secretary meeting. We are privileged to have Mr. V. Suresh, Chairman of IGBC. Mr. Suresh doesn't need any introduction to the building fraternity, the doyen of the Indian building sector, an extraordinary civil engineer with more than 50 years of experience, former Chairman and Managing Director of HUDCO. He was involved with the first National Building Code in 1970, and since then with several revisions of the building code, and member of various types of committees. So anything and everything to do with the building and building sector, Mr. Suresh is there in some form or other contributing to it. Thank you, Suresh Shop. Thank you for your presence here today.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Sharad Sanghi and Mr. Mahesh Trivedi from NTT. Thank you for joining us. Mr. Sharad Sanghi is at the helm of NTT business in India. He oversees NTT India Limited, NTT Calm India, and NTT NetMagic. He's also the CEO of Global Data Centers and Cloud Infrastructure, NTT Limited, an electrical engineer from IIT Bombay and with a master's degree from Columbia University. He's an industry veteran with more than 20 years of experience in data centers and internet services. Thank you, Sharad Sanghi is up, and Mr. Trivedi for joining us for this program. And we also have the privilege of Mr. Gurmeet Singh, Vice Chairman of IGBC. Mr. Gurmeet Singh is the Managing Director of Rajco Group, involved in various manufacturing facilities close to Mumbai. He has been involved extensively in the IGBC right from the very beginning of the launch of the green building movement in India. He has contributed significantly to the growth of plumbing and being part of IPA for a very long time. We are privileged to have Gurmeet Saab also as part of this program. Without much further ado, I would request Mr. Syed Mohammad Berry to go ahead with his welcome remarks. We will have the privilege of Mr. Jayesh Ranjan joining a little later. Mr. Berry.
Respected Mr. Jayesh Ranjan in absentia, respected Mr. V. Suresh, Chairman IGBC, respected Mr. Sharad Sanghi, CEO NTT Global, Mr. Gurmeet Singh Arora, Vice Chairman IGBC, my dear friends fellow participants, of eminent stalwarts, dignitaries, and present here. A hearty welcome to one and all on the inaugural session of CII IGBC Data Center Summit 2021, along with the Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory, USA. It is an honor and pleasure to stand before this august gathering of veterans and experts in the various fields, primarily in data centers. I can feel the aura of extraordinary positive energy and passion here, and I'm sure that by the time this summit concludes, we will all have shared a wealth of knowledge, have a lot to put into practice, have much to contribute, and much to carry home. Today, everyone is talking about sustainability and energy efficiency in data centers. But let me tell you, we at CII had initiated this particular activities way back in 2007. CII IGBC has published the very important technical document in the past with the support of Bureau of Energy Efficiency. IGBC, along with the Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory, USA, initiated joint efforts to promote energy efficiency in Indian data centers. From past several years, we are working together on that. In 2018, phase 3 of IGBC LBNL started. It has provided so much technical insight, user guide that we are having it launched by the chief guest, case studies, more importantly, the capacity building of DC stakeholders. Our capacity building programs such as Workshop on have created a new brand, and Data Center Summit has now become a platform for DC industry to share the knowledge, advocate on policy, and take the DC industry forward in all means of sustainability. Green data center should become a mainstream of designing data center, and net zero or carbon neutral data center shall be the futuristic goal for all of us. Close to 1,200 delegates are already registered for a data center summit, and we have excellent over 40 speakers from India and abroad. Very importantly, 2 launches would take place during this summit. That is a user guide for implementing ECBC 2017 in data center, and case study by NetApp Bangalore that uses free air cooling, outside air, to cool the data center. The Indian data center industry has grown significantly in the last few years and will continue to grow exponentially. India's data center landscape would continue to evolve due to the growing reliance on digital technology, 5G rollout, and IoT-linked devices, cloud adoption, and data localization. The primary goal of this data center summit is a gist are of twofold. One is the sustainability, other side inclusivity. Data center have a real opportunity to drive change by embracing sustainability, which is a step in the right direction. Sustainability has 2 key factors, ecological sustainability and commercial sustainability. And I think both should go hand in hand. Today, energy consumption of data center is a major concern globally. And to become truly sustainable, we need to ensure energy efficiency should be at the heart of every aspect of how a data center is running. Friends, can you imagine one data center, in Navi Mumbai or in a major city, which is consuming more than 300 megawatts of power, can light the entire Bombay city. So, at this rate, it cannot be sustainable unless and until all the, leaders, the industry leaders should come forward, and they should collaborate and work on the devices, how to reduce the energy, in the data center operation. This is the classic cases during about 15 years back, when the RFID chip development has came out, that requires a huge sum of money. That is where the global IT leaders such as Intel and Siemens, IBM and Philips collaborated on RFID technology. And the same way, we request and we urge on to the data center global leaders such as Equinix, Digital Reality, NTT Communication, AWS, Google, Microsoft Azure, to collaborate together and set up an R&D center to lead and fund so that the industry is able to develop the capability of substantial reduction in the energy requirement. And this is this is really going to be the game changer. Then this is a primary thing I would like to emphasize. And then, of course, we need to the energy consumption by virtue of technology and constant innovation, building design, that is also taking a very vital role. And then energy procurement, that is the shift towards renewable and clean energy. And I must compliment and congratulate most of the DC operators in India. They are, going in this, area, and they have already given their own. They already set their own goal, to become net zero energy, by 2025 and 2030, like that. That is a great, great development of what's happening in India. Then, so this is the primary thing I would like to, emphasize. And given there are many stakeholders in this industry and lakhs of employees working directly and indirectly, it is critical that the industry creates a sustainable path of growth, since jobs, livelihood, economic activity will be dependent on this and can be further, we can nurture it further. So Indian data center should aim to become a data center hub, not just in the region, but globally. Like the Indian IT industry today, despite the challenging time and difficult phases, particularly the Y2K and the .com bust that it had to face through, it is one of the best developed and notable ones globally. The DC industry should also try and emulate what the Indian IT and ITS industry has achieved. Ultimately, it is a individual commitment, collaborative effort and collective leadership that can help us achieve our goals and take DC development to the next level of being truly sustainable and inclusive. I honestly hope that the next 3 days of deliberation will bring in a great deal of insight to setting up green and resilient data centers. May God bless and speed our efforts. Good luck. God bless. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Berry. Thank you for that excellent introduction. With the permission of all of you, we would go ahead with the speeches and wait for Mr. Jayesh Ranjan to wait for the launch of the user guide. That's okay with all of you. I would request Mr. V. Suresh to deliver his address, please. Suresh sir.
Very happy. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished participants for this program. What a great pleasure to greet my dear friend Syed Mohammad Berry ji, Venkatagiri ji, Sharad Sanghi ji, Mahesh Trivedi ji, and Gurmeet Singh sir for this wonderful program. And of course, greetings in absence for Jayesh Ranjan ji, very well known for his wonderful initiative for Industries, Commerce Department and IT Department for Government of Telangana. So this is a wonderful day for us to have the Data Center Summit, a 3-day program on conferences on green and resilient India data centers. And we have come a long way. Data centers have come of age as far as India is concerned. We are able to bring in this an area where there's going to be a quantum gem company of tripling of data centers capacity in the next 2 years' time. Tripling. That's the type of situation needed. And the COVID has really brought out a situation where everything is done, all activity, economic activity, be it in terms of the business activity or education activity or entertainment activity or any activity that you want to have for dealing with people, everything is done through the net. And therefore, that brings in a phenomenal amount of load that's required, and the use of IT in a large way, an electronic transaction in a large way, all this would require a phenomenal amount of capacity for the data centers. And no wonder the year 2020 and 2021 has already shown the type of new data centers coming in different parts of the country. And I'm very happy that IGBC itself has been working in this particular sector well, as you will see very shortly. And first of all, a very happy welcome for this. And the initiative for the data centers we started in, even though we started really work on from 2007, but the real rating of green data centers came in 2016 to encourage implementation of green concepts for India's data centers by addressing various key aspects for the data centers. And that has been a very important component because it promotes resource efficiency, it green measures of sustainable data centers and global competency in data center. I think Syed Bedi mentioned about that, trying to be catching up with the global situation this point. And no wonder some of the best names in the data center sector are all IGBC rated. For example, key data centers working with IGBC are the NTT. Of course, we are very happy that Sharad Sanghi himself is there today for the program, and STT, GDC India, SIFI, SIFY, ICICI Bank, Reliance, very important one, Bridge, PA Data Centers, Adani Connects, SBI, NPCI, National Payment Corporation of India, HPCL, Bridge Data Centers, etc. Any name worth its thing in data centers component is always being supported by the IGBC. Bedi Saab himself has taken good initiative for the data centers, and I'm very happy that he's giving good leadership for this particular area. And we are also facilitating data centers to adopt green concepts and helping stakeholders in capacity development, very, very importantly. And we tied up with the Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory, which is called LBNL, started a joint initiative to promote energy efficiency in India data centers. And this work was started in 2010, nearly a decade back. Then we've been working together to develop technical guidance for data centers. Objective of the joint initiative, A, develop a user guide for implementation of ECBC 2017 in data centers. B, recommend additional standards for performance level for data center efficiency standards to augment the minimum requirements included in ECBC 2017. As you all know, this is an area we don't want any net zero labs should happen in this particular. We can't have any deficiency happening in a data center. It has got to work 24/7, 365 days, and at all points of time, working continuously on that. So standards are very, very important component there. And thirdly, a capacity building for all stakeholders, or organizing awareness and training programs for DC stakeholders. And lastly, identify and document case studies that demonstrate the best practices in India, including compliance to the ECBC 2017. Dr. Ajay Baklu Saab was to be with us, who is the Director General of the Bureau of Energy Efficiency. And you are aware that from the 2007 version, they came to the 2017 version of ECBC, and where the issue on energy saving become an important. As you know, IGBC's rating covers all the asset class of buildings over there, and with energy component for each one of the building change in a 100-point scale from 20 at the lowest to highest of 70. And 70, the highest is come to the data center. That means energy component as an important parameter in the green building rating is the highest in the data centers because it's an energy guzzler. So you got to really ensure the energy saving coming in a very large way. We are not having Bakre Saab today. I'm sure he'll be very happy to see the wonderful work that we have been able to do to get the user guide to identify standards under the 2017 ECBC 1, and also to offer notes and suggestions for implementation. This would approximately save around 30% energy in all the India data centers. And we are also happy a National Technical Advisory Committee with the group which called it's called the AGM. The advisory group members was formed as a joint initiative of all key stakeholders and with various leaders of data centers and the Bureau of Energy Efficiency. We worked very closely over the last few years over this particular thing. And I'm extremely happy and proud that the IGBC team, Giri and the team request a special pat on the back for organizing 10 workshops in the last 3 years only on green data centers. And we trained over 250 data center professionals. The phenomenal amount of contribution in the last 3 years. And with the joint initiative, IGBC and LBNL has developed case studies of exemplary data centers like Infosys and NetApp to showcase innovative technologies implemented in India data centers. And you remember, case study of Infosys data center has already been released. And today in our program, we would be having the case study of NetApp data would be released over there in the Summit 2021. And we had a phenomenal response. As Venkatagiri rightly said, last year we had over 1,000 and we had 26 countries participating in that. Phenomenal response on that. And this year's Data Center Summit also, I'm very happy, 44 national and international speakers have been assembled over there. In the next 3 days, from today, tomorrow, and the day after, the whole afternoon session till late evening, we are going to have discussions coming on all these very interesting points in respect of the data centers work over there. And I'm sure when they release this particular wonderful document, which we are waiting for, the user guide for implementation of ECBC 2017 in data centers, it will be a joint initiative of IGBC along with the LBNL, Department of Energy of USA. When we inaugurate it will be a I would say a green letter day. We don't say red letter day, a green letter day. And we're very happy to have the result. And I'm sure all the data centers in the country will be eager looking forward. There's a lot of international attention also on this. And let me share that information as I'm able to get the feedback from the team of the Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory. They're also looking forward to this particularly in a large way. I'm sure the Data Center Summit 2021 Conference on Green and Resilient Data Center will achieve greater heights in terms and deliberation. I'm also happy that we drafted the first version of the 2016 version with a very robust document. I'm using the robust because it was a pilot version. And mind you, normally a pilot version lasts for a year or two, and then later on we get a version 1.0. But we are still on the pilot version because of the robustness of the initial rating system. And only this Green Building Congress that we have at the end of the year, 1.0 version of the data center would be coming. I just thought that's an important information from the type of learnings that we got, from the good initiative from the best data centers that we have been able to put, based on the feedback that we have got from them and the stakeholders. The new version 1.0 will be coming. That will be launched during the Green Building Congress. With these words, I once again got great pleasure in welcoming all the distinguished participants and for all the speakers, distinguished speakers who come from different parts of the world for this program and for enriching our whole knowledge level on the topic of data centers. This is an area where information is, the information and the technology changes are happening phenomenally. Very touched a few of them in terms of new and renewable energy component, energy saving component. What do we deal with the particular thing of alternate energy and other related one? How do you deal with that if you don't want to deal with grid energy? At the same time, we want an energy source which has got to be 100%. And you know the type of backup support that we require in this particular thing is phenomenally large over there. Last time when I went to for one of the programs, the data centers in Bangalore, Perisab's location there, I was very happy to see the distinguished participants in that one and getting the latest state-of-the-art technology coming in there. And that's it. State-of-the-art technology is what all our data centers are going to bring for our country. And I'm sure that will come. And with this, with that happy note, let me say thank you once again for inviting me to start out this particular program. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. V. Suresh, for your very energetic and enlightening address at this program. May I now request Mr. Sharath Sanghi, Chief Executive Officer, NTT, to deliver a special address, please. Mr. Sharath Sanghi.
Thank you so much, CII and IGBC for inviting us. I'll request Mahesh to just share the presentation. So I'm going to do this in two parts. I'll give a brief introduction and then I'll let Mahesh talk about the green measures and resilient design that we've done in our data centers. I would like to acknowledge, as I did last time, that Mr. Berry is a very persuasive person. I actually had a conflict today, but he said you have to come, and so at his request, I could not say no. Mr. Berry has built our first platinum LEED certified data center in Bangalore in BGRT. And we continue to work with him in other data centers. Thank you so much, Mahesh, for putting this up. Can you just make it in full screen?
Sure, sir.
Yeah. So we can go to the next slide. So we're talking about sustainability. So I think one very key thing that I wanted people to know is going from 51 billion to zero. That is the amount. 51 billion tons is the amount of greenhouse gases that are emitted every year on an average, and this is only increasing. and we have to figure out how do we take this to zero. And I think especially for data center companies, because we consume a lot of power, because given the huge densities of load that are there, we have to all commit to make sure that we become net zero in the near future. Next slide, Mahesh. From an entity perspective, entity has announced an eco strategy 2030, when they've designed 5 pillars aligned for in alignment with the UN Sustainable Development Goals. One is 10x reduction in CO2 emissions across society, improve power efficiency, especially on the data centers. Just go to the previous slide, Mahesh, if you don't mind.
Sorry.
Yeah. And also promote R&D and energy conservation. Entity has invested a lot of R&D dollars in improving power efficiency of its data centers. Entity has also announced the fact that we'll become net zero before 2030, and India is actually, I'm proud and happy to announce that actually India is leading the way in the entity ecosystem. We already have captive renewable energy plants in Maharashtra and Karnataka. We're also having a hybrid wind and solar plant in Karnataka, and a new wind wind plant, as well as a captive plant in Maharashtra. So in addition to that, Mahesh will elaborate some of the measures that we've taken for improving our power usage efficiency and improving overall green building designs and sustainable development of our data centers. As Berry Saab mentioned, they need to be sustainable both from an ecological perspective and also from a operations perspective. And that is something that Mahesh will cover in his presentation. And some of the other initiatives are, we want to implement closed loop recycling. We want to adapt to climate change and preserve the Earth's ecosystems, all this well before 2030. Next slide, Mahesh. So if you look at India, right, again, Mr. Berry mentioned that it's one of the fastest digitizing economies. We have 1.26 billion people with a unique digital identity, close to 700 million total internet subscribers, close to 500 million smartphone users, 11 GB data consumption per smartphone per month, and one of the lowest average cost of 1 GB of mobile data. It's just 9 cents. Next slide, please. So for a data center perspective, all these factors lead to data center growth. There is significant private equity investment. All the major global players, including NTT, are present in the market. We have Digital Realty, we have Equinix, NTT, a lot of other global players have already entered. There's a supply pipeline of close to 560 megawatts from 21 to 23. There's a very significant occupancy by cloud hyperscalers, and there's a 340 acres of land has been purchased by data center service providers. So there's a huge growth potential that we see, and we see across the board, and not only from NTT but also from STT and a lot of other players. We see a lot of growth in this 3x, maybe in the next 3 years, is the kind of growth that we are seeing. And all this needs to be done in a sustainable way. If this goes unchecked, or if it is not done properly, then this could lead to issues in terms of the environment. Next slide, Mahesh. So as we build the next generation of data centers, we focus on 5 areas. And one is on energy. How do we do renewable energy and zero carbon energy sources? How do we do the construction, the climate neutral cement and steel? How do we do optimum utilization of water? How do we manage e-waste? And how do we do optimal cooling, right, for our data centers? And to take these, to take this in next level of detail, I'd like to invite Mahesh Trivedi. Mahesh is responsible for the design and operation and build of our data centers. He's been a veteran since NetMagic started, and briefly went to Schneider, but then came back to NTT NetMagic, and he's been spearheading these areas for us. And I'd like Mahesh actually to, instead of me speaking on something which I don't have as much depth on, I'd like Mahesh to actually elaborate in more detail. So Mahesh, please take this forward.
Yeah, thank you,
everyone.
Sharad. And good afternoon, everyone. Just for a moment, let me just put on my video. I don't know how to do that. Just hold on, please. Can I do that on my own? Yeah, I can do that. Here it is. Yeah, I hope I'm visible now. Thank you. Yeah, so let me just put it on the slide board. Yes. So I'll just go one slide back, and you can't stress enough, the importance of the green data centers, because we are poised for a very big leap in terms of our capacity multiplication. And when we say we, it's India I'm talking about. Of course, entity being the leader will have a major of this responsibility to deliver all these capacities the client are looking at towards India. But just these numbers, are mind-boggling in the sense that we are doubling and tripling the existing capacity year on year, and that is the trend we see at least for the next 3 to 5 years. So this juncture is so crucial for all the data center players to kind of pause and ponder that this is the right time when we start our fit outs. We should form our strategy, which should include the green initiatives as default in all our data centers. And the way we see it, it could be a major game changer, as people say that if you don't change, you lose out. I think one of the key levers going forward would definitely be the green percentage or the greenness of a data center, which will win customers over, right? And we do see a lot of not only initiatives, but also, regulatory coming around this. So it does make sense to, have that thought process when we are about to go for a giant leap, right? So these are the 5 pillars at NTT we have identified broadly, to try and introduce green measures in each of this. While energy is the biggest, as everybody else knows, I mean, that's the biggest parameter in our business. But we should, look back at what else we do and where else we can go green. And construction is a major thing again. And that's why we are totally committed to go with IGBC, minimum gold and if possible, even platinum certifications for all our new DC builds. And that's a commitment entity has towards the green buildings. Water and waste, of course, is just let me go on the energy a bit and try and, show some of the measures we are taking. While buying out third-party green power is a good measure. That way we promote a lot of green new entrepreneurs to come up in that field. But to take that commitment further, we have also tried setting up our own wind and solar plant, as Sharad pointed out, and we will keep on doing that. There are so many other things on the green, energy and reducing the carbon footprint. Like in the construction and the design, we use the highest efficiency equipments. Of course, there is always a debate on that because that always comes with a cost. But irrespective of that, our commitment goes far beyond the cost, and we do make sure that we go for the best of the equipments in terms of the efficiency. A lot of the initiative of greenness also comes from data center operation, which is kind of missed out by some of the players in the market. And that is one thing I would like to, urge all our fellow DC operators to focus on. While the construction and the initial designs and selection of equipments can contribute a lot of things as far as the greenness goes, but operation, because it's a 10 plus years of operation, what we typically look at, that's where a lot of greenness can, be brought in by, a good operation measures like timely cleaning of filters and, changing of filters, or reducing your cable wastage by doing a good estimation, and a lot of things. I mean, there are tens and thousands of things we can do on a day-to-day basis to optimize the operation and thus reduce the wastages. I mean, operations is where the 3 R's of the IGBC movement, reduce, recycle, and reuse, can come into a major play in the operations. So again, at NTT, we are very conscious of these facts, and our operations are very lean in that sense. We consume the minimum spares, and that will lead me to the next thing, waste. When you consume minimum spares, you generate least waste, right? And as far as the waste goes, that's again a big challenge. The kind of volumes of e-waste the data centers will create and is creating is something should be a focus area again for the data center operators. This is where again it helps if you optimize your components and run them efficiently and to a good load where it delivers the best of the efficiencies, and make sure that you use the best. We again make sure that nothing goes to the landfills or is burned off. Typically, we recycle ourselves and reuse, not recycle of course, but reuse a lot of things which can be in our data centers. And whatever goes for reuse always goes to the authorized guys who have the licenses and the facilities to recycle the waste, e-waste. So that's what we focus on as operations, and that can bring out a lot of change in terms of your carbon footprint. Cooling and heating, of course, goes hand in hand with the energy. But in the energy, if I were to bifurcate, the biggest this one the percentage goes to the cooling and heating, right? And that's where the maximum optimization can be brought out. So apart from doing the usual good things about sealing the floors and putting grommets and the blanking plates and raising the operating temperatures and things like that, we also are experimenting with a lot of new technologies like immersion cooling, liquid cooling, fan walls, lot of things we have already started doing in some of our data centers on what we call as a pilot basis. Of course, they are operational data centers, but we are using them as pilot to find out the operational challenges, if any, the actual efficiency realizations and things like that. And we are committed again to pick out the best of them and implement in a big way in our upcoming data centers. So that's the 5 pillars we are focusing on at NTT to bring about the best efficiencies possible in our operations and in our designs as well. Coming to the next thing, as I said, at NTT, we are committed to do
Yeah, but I'm not speaking.
bring ourselves to the net zero. We have already launched some initiatives around that. We are working closely with IGBC to align as per their directives and achieve that by 2050. That's a global commitment, by the way, at NTT, and we are at India totally committed and aligned to do that.
I know, we should launch it.
As I said, India is on a very big of data center expansion.
Yeah, we should launch.
And as Saraj sir mentioned, we are leading the way globally by doing the maximum percentages of solar power. So and I think we are adding on a lot of that as we speak. So we are proud to do that as our bit. As we said, we are also aligning with our end customers who are also good to help us satisfy their energy needs through the green power what we are setting up. So that's a big initiative we are taking, and so these are our plans over the next 4 years, which is huge. As Sharad sir pointed out, it's not easy to bring down that to net zero from where we are today, but we are totally committed and we are confident of achieving this. As part of our digital initiatives, we are setting up these huge data center campuses. All of them will be green IGBC certified for sure. We have the substation cables coming in, subsea cables coming in all the way through from the different parts of the world, and landing stations are coming up at Mumbai and Chennai. What we are trying to do here is make sure that we are future ready for our edge requirements, whatever and whenever they come in, which I think will come sooner than later. And then we are also focused on a big way to set up our own solar and wind generation systems. By the way, we are also exploring near or on-site what we call generation in a small way. Again, that's a pilot being planned. And again, it's based on renewable energy. Hopefully, it will work out good. And then we'll implement that in a big way across our various campuses coming up around India. These are the various focus we have to make sure we are aligned with the green initiatives of NTT Global. We already have 3 certified data centers in operation. Chennai was, of course, a very early LEED certified in India, and we are proud of that. And after that, we are making sure that all of our upcoming data centers are LEED certified. As Sharad Sir mentioned, with wind power, we have the open access, but we are also investing in Karnataka for setting up a wind power. And we are planning to use a lot of AI. Again, as I said, whatever we speak here are already in application in some of our operational data centers in small or big ways. The results are being evaluated at the global level. By the way, one of the good things at Entity is that we are a global company having 200 plus data centers across the globe. And we have these forums where we regularly exchange good practices and green initiatives being tried out at various locations around the. So we leverage a lot on that knowledge as well. Solar power, as Sharad San was mentioning, it's a first for our disease. And we have a big capacity already, which we are using 83% of that power for Mumbai data center is what the aim is. And we are already in the process of expanding into 50 megawatt and beyond. And we are augmenting it by the wind energy plant. We are setting up both in Maharashtra and in Karnataka as well. So in conclusion, what we will say here is that we are already seeing a lot of, climate change based disaster. If you look at the recent flooding in Germany, China, and India, I mean, these are poles apart in terms of geographical locations, but it's hitting us all. And the sufferings are the same, be it any country, any people, the sufferings are the same. These are, we believe strongly, due to a lot of climate change, which are very slowly happening, which we cannot probably envisage on day one. But as data center operators over the last 20 plus years, we have seen our ambient temperatures also go up bit by bit across the various locations, right? And I don't see any other explanation than probably the slow climatic change which is happening globally. We need to be very conscious about this, and irrespective of all the business pressures we all have, I think it's time that we give it the importance it deserves and make sure that we all go the green way. And why more focused today is that because of those figures which we are seeing of the big data center expansion coming up in India, it's time that the data center guys, as I think Berry San also mentioned in his speech, it's time that we share this knowledge. This should be treated as something which is in the bigger good for the human race, I would say. We should look at it from that big picture and try and contribute all the good initiatives, the good technology we learn, and make it open worldwide for all the data center players. So thank you for listening, and you can reach out to us for any queries or any questions or any further inputs you need on this. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sharad Sanghi, and thank you, Mr. Mahesh Trivedi, for that excellent address covering the entire gamut of data centers and the efforts that are being taken up for improving the efficiency and making them more and more sustainable. We would now like to, with the permission of all the dignitaries, Mr. Berry, Mr. Suresh, Mr. Sharad Sanghi, Mr. Mahesh Trivedi, and Gurmeet Singh Saab, we would like to launch the user guide for implementing ECBC in data centers. This is part of the larger initiative between IGBC and Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory to improve the overall energy efficiency of data centers in India. One of the objectives is to augment the minimum energy efficiency requirements of ECBC 2017. The objective is to further supplement the ECBC guidelines for data centers issued by Bureau of Energy Efficiency. This will help all the companies who are trying to implement the ECBC standards. ECBC, of course, provides 3 levels of compliance: ECBC compliant, ECBC plus, and super ECBC. And this guidelines include standards for each level. There are some areas where BE has not prescribed standards or requirements for compliance. The additional requirements are also included in this guidebook. The objective of the guidebook is it helps users to identify the ECBC tier they seek to achieve, and then provide guidance and best practice recommendations for achieving those tiers of ECBC. The guide covers the energy efficiency requirements under 4 broad categories in terms of room cooling, the chiller plant, the electrical systems, and of course the IT hardware and management. I would request the permission of the dignitaries, Mr. Berry, Mr. Suresh, Mr. Sharad Sanghi, Mr. Mahesh Trivedi, and Gurmeet Saab. May I have your permission to get the user guide launched?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. May I request my colleague Shivraj to digitally launch this user guide, please? Thank you. We would like to have the support of BE also for this guideline book. We are in discussions with Mr. Abhay Bakre, who is the Director General of Bureau of Energy Efficiency. I'm sure he will also join sometime during the course of these 3 days. Thank you all very much. May I now request Mr. Gurmeet Singh Arora, Vice Chairman of IGBC, to deliver the concluding remark, please.
Thank you, Mr. Venkat Giri. Dignitaries on and off the dais. Mr. Jayesh Ranjan will be joining us shortly, but however, being the Principal Secretary, Industries and Commerce and Information Technology for the Telangana government, he has got stuck with the Chief Secretary. But I am going to thank him in advance, not only for his having agreed to join us today, but also for supporting the data center rating and the movement of IGBC since the beginning. Under his leadership, Telangana state has grown significantly in terms of data centers and applied services, and I would like to thank him for his continued support even in his absence. We are grateful to Mr. Sharath Sanghi, CEO, NTT, who has agreed to join the inaugural session. Excellent presentation, Mr. Mahesh Trivedi and Mr. Sanghi. During the special address, he has pointed out several measures related to sustainability in data centers. We are extremely happy for his gracious presence during the inaugural session. Your encouragement, sir, supports the whole Indian data center industry to pursue excellence in green and resilient data centers. I am sure the launch of the ECBC user guide for data centers will facilitate the whole data center industry to achieve greater improvements in terms of energy efficiency, and it would also help to have equipment level benchmarking of the industry. I request all data center owners, developers, builders, designers, MEP consultants to kindly adopt the ECBC user guide along with the IGBC Green Data Center rating for their upcoming projects. In case of any support you require, my team at CI IGBC, you can check our website. It's available for you 24/7 on any queries that you have, even to handhold you through the rating so that you achieve the highest rating possible. We are glad to receive excellent support from data center owners, developers, manufacturers, and service providers. I would fail if I do not thank my colleagues, Mr. V. Suresh, my chairman, my boss in IGBC, Mr. Syed Mohammed Bahri, who has been so passionate in whatever he does within IGBC, and just to make sure that whatever he builds is green and sustainable. Thank you, sir. Mr. Venkat Giri, thank you for all your support. I thank NTT for providing principal support to this data center summit. Also, I would like to thank Adani Connex, Curtails, Pillar, Vertiv, Armstrong, Delta, Nalco, and Ecolab company, STT, GDC for extending the support. Without your support, it is not possible to organize such a large conference, especially with 1,200 people already online now. I also thank all the panelists, distinguished speakers, and attendees for joining this summit of great importance. I am glad to mention that we have 44 speakers from India and outside the country who would share their knowledge and wisdom with you over the next 3 days. I request all of you to also visit the virtual stalls, the virtual exhibition as well. It is very, very interesting. You can walk through the exhibition, visit the stalls, and have a conversation with all the stall holders. We strongly believe that India should lead the green data center movement and drive the market in terms of benchmarking and standards. IGBC is already the third largest green building council in the world in terms of green footprint, and we would like to lead in all the spheres that we work in, because we believe that sustainability is the ethos of the Indian culture, and we need to now get back to building only sustainable structures. On behalf of IGBC, I would like to thank all the participants and wish them to experience many interesting and informative presentations for the next 3 days. I am sure this data center summit will go a long way to integrate sustainability in data center infrastructure of our country. On this note, I wish the Data Center Summit a grand success, and I am sure a new chapter will be scripted in the annals of digital and green India. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Venkat.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Gurmeet Singh Arora. With this, we come to the end of the inaugural session. The next session, which is the panel discussion on sustainability in data centers, a key driver for growth, will start at 3:45. We would request all the delegates to join back at 3:45, please. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Great things change things. Wherever we are, whatever we're doing, the information that empowers and connects us comes back to our global data centers. Built for a secure, sustainable, and digital world, they make the invisible visible and anything possible. And that's the great thing. Together, we do great things. Great things change things. Great things change things.
Chennai, known as the gateway to South India, is one of the major IT and data center hubs in the country. The Adani Group now plans to build world-class data center infrastructure in the city of Chennai. The Adani Chennai 1 data center is the biggest hyperscale data center in Chennai with a 32 megawatt IT load. It is strategically located in Sipcot IT Park with direct connectivity to the National Highway and other major IT hubs in Chennai. The data center is being built to meet global standards with 7 layers of security, best-in-class power usage effectiveness, redundant fiber connectivity and green energy. The Adani Chennai 1 shall be equipped to provide one-stop solution for all telecom and IT infrastructure needs of hyperscale customers, including low-latency network connectivity, high-performance computing, and other value-added services. Through this data center, the Adani Group aspires to contribute to the local economy while continuing a work towards nation building at large and being steadfast on our philosophy of growth with goodness.
Founded in Germany over 100 years ago by Anton Piller, the company has a long history in the manufacturing of exceptionally high-quality electrical machines and power quality equipment. Today, as part of the multidisciplined global British engineering group Langley Holdings plc, Piller is a world leader and innovator in a number of power protection technologies, specializing in UPS systems for mission-critical applications and frequency converters for aircraft ground power, amongst other uses. Piller UPS systems are found in applications where continuous high-quality power is paramount, such as computer data centers, financial institutions, broadcasting, telecommunication networks, airports, healthcare facilities, and continuous process production sites. Nothing protects quite like Piller.
It's amazing what humans have accomplished. Cars that think, machines that learn, healthcare that predicts. The progress of tomorrow has yet to be imagined, but it will rely on data. It will rely on Vertiv. Vertiv ensures data gets where it needs to be uninterrupted. Critical power is always running. Servers perform at optimal temperatures. Infrastructures grow safely and responsibly. Applications run without glitches, and life leaps forward again. Getting there takes vision and agility. Our leading experts think beyond infrastructure, connecting the dots to create integrated, intelligent ecosystems, to create a future that takes innovation to the next level. And when business needs shift, we work closely with our customers every step of the way. Together, we ensure they are ready before they ever need to be. Vertiv provides continuity in our digital world, so we remain unbound, liberated, free to create the next big thing. Vertiv, architects of continuity.